This is my third attempt, so let me try and get. I hope I'm able to do it this time. The invite again.
Yeah, can you hear me now
Hi.
clearly?
Yeah, I think so. This is definitely better.
Yeah, actually, because of some network issues.
Yeah. So let me ask you my question again. I don't know how many people are still watching us now. So I was asking, did you think about becoming baker? Were you always, was this always your plan of action, or did you want to do something
No,
else?
I was a finance student actually, was pursuing my CA and CS, but then that was never my interest area. So after marriage, I thought that I'll just try once, and that's how I landed up with this baking.
Okay, so you tried baking once, or were you always interested in
No,
baking? I mean, in the
I started with chocolates, and
okay.
after that, I started getting orders and all that, and then I thought that let me learn the science behind it. And after that, I came across a course called baking diploma in baking and confectionery in Lavon, and that time I was in Pune, so I shifted to Bangalore because of that course, and then I
Oh,
did my diploma, yes, for 6 months.
so you married and then you shifted to Bangalore.
Yeah, in fact, I had a baby when I did my diploma. So that was a pretty tough job for me. When he was 6 months, then I started my Lavon actually. But then, yes, with the family support and all that, I managed.
I must really praise your husband that he actually agreed to shift everything, from Pune all the
Yeah,
way to
honestly,
Bangalore just for
yes.
you to do it.
Not only him, I think my mother-in-law and all that was also very supportive because when I was going to Lavon, it was a full day course. Like I used to leave at 6 o'clock and then I used to come back mostly at 8 p.m. or so. So,
Okay.
she was all the time here to take care of him. And when exams were there, I remember that I used to cry that how will I do and all that. She was like, just focus on your studies. I'll take care of him. So those 6 months, I mean, everybody was very supportive.
Awesome, yeah. I mean, really lucky to have such a family who supports you all the way. Not only your maternal side of you and maybe your
Yes,
husband's side as well.
yes,
Awesome.
yes.
So you started off as a chocolate. What made you enter
Yes.
into? So you
So see,
always.
I started as a chocolatier, but then I always wanted to learn cakes and all that because I knew that that has a wider scope. This was not something which, I just took out of passion and all that because baking was never my passion. It was a very well thought decision that, okay, I want to enter this as my career option. So that's the reason I always wanted to learn the science behind everything I was doing it, and then I wanted to take orders and all that stuff. So I started with chocolates, and then I learned cakes and desserts and everything, and I landed up with customized cakes.
Okay, so it was a very well thought decision. I mean, and this particular course, did you do any sort of research in saying, "Ki, this is the course that I want to do. This
Yes,
particular
of
course
course. I did it
more
like hell
suitable."
lot of research, like for good 2 months. And I remember that in Lavon, you have to pass the entrance exams also. So in first shot, I think my form was not submitted. I mean, they did not accepted it. Second time, it got cleared.
Okay, so what kind of questions are they asking in this entrance exam? I mean, you're obviously been. Are
It
they
is not
expecting some?
kind of it is not kind of like entrance exam, but then their interest, your background, your marks, and everything. There are like 15 to 20 questions, and every time they ask different questions. It's not a set of questions which they ask every student.
Okay, so and how was your 6 months? You told me it was very rigorous. And from 6 a.m. to 8 in the evening, you are uh, at the place learning. So, what was your experience like at that 6 months, and did it really prepare you for your career, or?
So when I started, I never knew that it is going to be that tough for me because when we joined, we were always told that okay, it is going to be 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. course. But after that, I realized it's just not about 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's much more. Plus, you have after coming back also, you have to do your costing, you have to make your notes, you have to prepare for your exams, both practical and theoretical. And I had left my studies 6 years back before the lockdown. So it was quite a gap for me. So even that was a challenging thing. But again, my husband is a chartered accountant, so he helped me with the costing and all that stuff. And that,
Okay.
yeah, that was a great achievement.
Okay. So after you finished your class, you immediately set out to start off your own venture, or did you join any place to get some experience of that kind?
No, actually, I couldn't join the internship because Ara was very small, and that time, wherever I asked for the internship, they always said me that it is going to be Monday to Sunday job. There is no leave and as such. Plus, the joining time will also be 7 a.m. or something, and I mean, they can't say that by what time I'll get the leave. So I opted, and that's when I realized that okay, let me start with my own. And I just started with honestly with no as such career oriented thing that I was just in my mind. It was the thing that okay, let me start. So I just went with the flow, and thank God that I chose being working on my own.
Okay, so when you're saying you started on your own, you just decided. What was the very first step that you took to start on your own? Did you tell people? Did you research? Did you decide this? This is what is going to be my profit. This much is my target. Any planning of that kind, or just how did you go about it?
So as I said that because Ara was so small, I did not had the opportunity to join any internship and all that. So I started with cakes and all that. And unfortunately, I was very new to the city and I never had any friends here. So when I started, I was not very confident that whether this thing will be, going in my way or not. But thankfully, I'm very, very blessed with the set of clients I have. I started with I mean, I remember I used to get a cake in a week. And I always used to say, I don't know where I'm leading to because once in a week, getting a cake is like too low for me. And today, it's like, even I get six cakes in a day and I feel like it's okay, I'll manage. So I just started, but I think my clients and word of mouth mattered a lot. And that is the only advertisement I had done till date. So the Instagram and the Facebook, nothing else other than that.
So, okay, so now word of mouth, Instagram, social media, basically, these are what you would
Yes.
recommend to people, right? If any baker wants to start off, and if they obviously want to publicize what they're doing, if they want people to know what they're doing, so these are
Yes,
the
I
avenues
think,
you.
if you are working nicely, if you are, making your client satisfied with your work and, with the taste buds and all that, I think that that is more than enough. They will only refer you to hundred of people and you don't need any actually social media platform. I mean, of course, other than for Instagram and Facebook is a page where you can create and, where you can showcase your work. But other than that, if you are making your client satisfied in terms of your work and taste bud, I think you're good to go.
Okay, so would you say most of your clientele are because of word of mouth, right?
Yes, I think 80% of my clients.
And you do get clients from Insta and Facebook and things like that. People come and inquire about your cakes and things like that.
Yes, I think since last 7 to 8 months, I have been getting quite a lot of inquiry from Instagram also. But before that, it was absolutely word of mouth. So I never used to get any new clients from any social media. It was all through word of mouth.
Perfect. So your cake, I mean your work, at least from what I have seen, because I'm in Bombay, I've not yet tasted your cake, but whatever I have seen, they're like, absolutely wonderful, neat, clean, pristine they are. Actually, a lot of your,
That's my forte, Lizzie. I really I don't like too much of stuffs on my cake. I hate clumsy cakes actually. So I have chosen this, stream like neat and clean cakes.
they're amazing, You look at them, sometimes it doesn't even look like a cake. It's like, oh my God, is this really actually a cake?
Thank you so much.
So right now you have your own studio, right? And you are employing people, or you still? How does
No,
that work?
I have two employees, but yes, I am guiding them, and they are still on the learning process. So it's me who's doing all the customization and all that everything. Nobody else.
Okay. So how was the first year of business? You told me initially there used to be one cake in a week. So how did that progress? The first year of your business. So how would you
Yeah, it
categorize
was
that as?
very slow. In fact, sometimes I mean, people used to say that it's not a right stream, it's not a right platform because that's how this doesn't. I mean, in that way, business doesn't work and all that. But somehow I had faith in me that it's okay. Let me give it a try. Let me try for at least 2 years because my father is a businessman. So I have that in my genes that okay,
Correct.
I will not give up. So I tried, and thankfully I tried, and I did not give up. So
So
first
with a
year was
husband,
slow, but
yeah. So with a husband as a CA, father as a businessman, what kind of advice did they give you?
it's
I
the
mean, when you
worst combination, trust me, because he will give you some different gang and he will give me some different gang. So, accumulating together and managing both of them is not an easy task.
Yes, super. So the name Chaska Box, how did that come up? Has it
So
been
in
like this from the
Hindi,
beginning?
chaska means, that addiction when you have something, you get that urge and feeling of just,
The
having it again and
Chaska.
again. That means chaska, yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I had this thing in my mind ki, okay, whenever I'll make cakes, it should be like this, that people should get chaska of it. So that's how it came as chaska
जरूर
box.
लोगों को जरूर है आपके केक का.
I'm sure, sure.
So you told me you're not a native from Bangalore. So I'm asking especially because you said Chaska. So where are you from originally?
I'm from Kolkata.
Okay, okay, okay. So
So I've been born and
after
brought up in Kolkata and
studying,
then shifted here 6 years back in Bangalore.
super. So when did business start picking up? When would you say it started picking up after
4 years back only, but now I think it's like 2000 since 2020 it has been my best phase for my business in business terms.
2020?
Yes, since 2020.
Okay. So I'm just trying to, tell the other people who are watching, any bakers who want to join and things like that, just to try and be patient. Basically, I think one of the main three ingredients required to be successful is be patient, trust in yourself, believe in yourself. At least that's what I'm
Yes,
getting from what
I
you're
mean, I
telling.
think these are something which whatever you are doing, these two, three things are there which you'll always require, no matter it's service, business, profession, whatever you are doing.
So, and when you started off as an entrepreneur, what kind of difficulties did you come? Yeah, obviously you told me that the orders were coming in, not as much as you were expecting or whatever. But other than that, any other difficulties in terms of dealing
Of
with
course, work-life
vendors?
balance because your orders can be at 6 a.m., your orders can be for 12 o'clock midnight. So it's very, very important for us, to maintain the work-life balance. And number two is health factor because mostly all the day we are on our feet. So any baker you ask, they will be having problem in their legs or maybe back pain or something like that. So I realized 2 years later only, after I started my business that, I have to be on regular exercise or I have to do continuous walks and all that so that I can keep myself fit and I don't retire early. So, so it is very important, when you are in such fields that you have to take care of yourself also other than these bakings and this thing.
And professionally, any other issues that you had to face in terms of dealing with
Yeah,
people or
when
anything?
you're in this creative world, you always have to be, up to date when it comes to designing and all that. Because when it comes to your clothing, when it comes to these kind of baking, designings keep changing after every 1 month actually. So you have to be really updated and you have to study a lot. You have to see what's going on in your market. So these things are there which nobody realizes in our stream, but we have to, give 1 hour at least in a day.
1 hour at least in a day to be updated in your field to figure
Yes,
out what is happening.
yes,
So
because
how do you
every day,
so
yeah,
you go
sorry.
online to do this research work or how do you do it?
I mean, there are of course various, factors where you can work on, like you can on go online and check because these days we have Pinterest, Instagram, where people do teach quite a lot of stuff. Then you can update yourself with learning. I mean, with enrolling in new classes. There are quite a lot of international classes, and even in India, there are so many good tutors you will get who will keep updating you with all these things. So yeah, or maybe by reading books.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like they say, it's the same in all fields. You have to keep learning. You have to keep yourself updated. I mean, you never
Yes.
really finish studying, right?
Yeah.
So, what kind of advice? See, I'm sure there are a lot of even now. I mean, actually, last year and this year, I think there has been an increase in home bakers, basically who have come up because of the lockdown and everything. A lot of people have entered your field. Do you feel the competition? Right? Um,
Sorry, I missed your last 4 5 words.
I said, especially 2020 and this year, there are a lot of people who come up as bakers. So I was
Yes.
asking you, do you feel the competition because the number of home bakers have increased drastically because of the last 2 years.
See, I feel competition and competitor you will find in every field, but I believe that you should work in such a way that no matter how much ever competition comes in, you are standing out. So, and again, that is the first funda is that you have to be, you have to make sure that, you are working neat, your clients are happy with you. And I have seen in my career that there are bakers who have been joining this field since 5 years, but my clients are stick to me. So, I
Okay,
mean, since
okay.
5 years, I have been baking for them. There are clients whom, since beginning they are with me. So I feel once you, start working nicely and once you start working dedicatedly towards your work, I don't think so that no, I mean, any competition and competitor can affect you.
Great. So, and do you believe that any baker who starts out has to, I mean, has to go for a diploma or a certification of some kind? But, I mean, obviously, like you said, there are a lot of YouTube and those kind of videos, tutorials, things like that available. So, do you think there is a difference between a baker who goes and gets certified and a baker who
See, I went for diploma because I had a zero knowledge about desserts. So for me, it was very important because I am not somebody who has a sweet tooth. So for me, every flavor was very new and different. But I know quite a lot of friends who have just learned on their own, or maybe they have taken 2 3 classes and they are really doing very good. So it's not that for a cake artist you have to join a course, but yes, if you want to be a pastry chef or you want to do something related to hotel sectors or something, then taking a professional course makes a lot of sense. Even now, when it comes to some prize winning things and all that, then they definitely look into the things that if you are a certified or not. But when it comes to your work, when it comes to being a cake artist, I don't think so that certificates and all that matters a lot.
okay, okay. Awesome. So, and see, now I'm sure there are others who
Yeah, Didi. I can hear you now.
am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible.
So, one last question that I want to ask you is, I mean, you have been giving us advice all through this session. You've been telling us, but if somebody is aspiring to become an entrepreneur, not only as a home baker, I'm just saying because you are at the end of the day, you are an entrepreneur. So the profits, the losses, the business, you have to be involved in the whole gamut of
Yes.
the thing. So anybody who wants to become a woman entrepreneur, what kind of advice would you give them?
See, I have always been believing that rather than doing what you love, I have always been a person who has followed whatever I do, I love that. So when you have this thing in your mind, it makes your life very easy. And when you're an entrepreneur, I mean, especially in terms of home baking, I have made sure that I have my, profit and loss things, everything on place since day one. So I can tell you like what was my sales when I started and what is my sales and figures when I am working today. So that is very important to note and understand because you will be able to compare yourself from the last year to now. That is very important. Comparing with other people will not give you a lot of sense, but comparing yourself with the last year definitely gives you a lot of sense. So I think that most of the home bakers which I have been seeing is that they miss this part of it. They don't make a profit and loss statement, or they don't carry forward these things. I mean, it's okay, they are earning, but they themselves don't know what are they earning. So my only advice to the new home bakers will be that, just maintain your bills, just maintain your profit and loss statement, how many orders, even feedback I always noted down. Like what was the feedback which I got it from my client last year. And the same cake, if I'm working today, I will go to my notebook and I'll just check what was their feedback last year. If they had any complaints or any issues, I'll try that this time it is solved. Because even after complaint they're coming to me, so they're coming with a lot of faith, right? So these things I always try and rectify it.
Amazing. I mean, you've given us some extremely good advice, especially when you're saying, to be a competition to yourself, you need to check yourself where you were last year, where you are this year, and this advice about actually, no, a lot of bakers actually ask for feedback, but I don't know how many of them actually jot it down and actually have notes where they go back and refer to it and
No, I always, in fact, if few clients, I understand that the day of the occasions, they're always busy, right? That, I mean, all of us gets busy when it's the day of the occasion. I always make sure that I ping them back again a day after, and then I ask for the feedback. No matter it's good or bad, I note down their feedback. Thankfully, 95% of my feedbacks are always good. But even the 5%, I always note it down and I say that, okay, I'll work on it. And next time, I never give them chance, to say anything bad. So I think that's how the word of mouth also works, because they understand that, if we are working on the feedback, we are also concerned about them and about our work.
So how do you handle a negative feedback if something comes across? I mean, there is always a chance, the cake was spoiled during transport, or they didn't like the cake, or anything of that kind. How do you handle something like that?
Honestly, last to last, I mean, day before yesterday only it happened that one of my cake got spoiled through Danzo. And that client was so sweet that rather than me consoling her, she started consoling me that it's okay. These things happen. You don't have to be disappointed and all that. So I am blessed with such clients that they never give negative feedback, also a negative feedback. And I take all the negative feedback as a constructive one, that, these are the places where I can work and I can make myself better. Because no person is better, especially when it comes to food industry. It's like, maybe you like one cake and maybe other person will not like the same flavor. So this thing, since day one, I have this thing in my mind and I try my best that, okay, I understand what kind of cake my clients wants, and according to that only I serve. But if it happens that they don't like it, I take the feedback as a constructive feedback and then I work on it.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of fans because just now, an Ayushi added, she tells us that her cakes are the best in Bangalore. In fact, there were a lot of other comments which I was about to read some because of our connection issues, but a lot of people said you are the best in Bangalore and your cakes are awesome. I mean, there were a lot of comments that came out.
See, they are being sweet to me. I'm sure they must be all my clients. And I keep saying everybody that I have got the best bunch of clients, and I can assure you that. I don't know why, but I feel very, personal touch, I connection with them because maybe since 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, I have been serving them. So it's more of like a family now, rather than just clients.
I am so glad to hear that, and I hope the other bakers also have a similar experience. And Ayushi, thank you so much for being with us. And I mean, like you said, all of you guys are so busy and still taking out the time and talking to us. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much, Libby, for calling me here. It was like really my absolute pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Have a nice
Yeah, we'll
evening.
catch up
Bye.
offline. Bye.
Sure, sure. Bye bye.
Bye.